Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with another live stream Thursday evening, 7:30 p.m., the 20th of July. And as you guys can see, I'm coming to you today from a different location, an undisclosed location. Not going to say just yet where I am, but I'm on a portable setup. I've got the laptop, portable mic, so if there are any technical issues today, please let me know. And what we're going to do, as we always do, is go through some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press. We'll also have a look at some comments that have been left on the video, on videos recently, I should say. And then in the second half of the video, I'll go into the live chat here and check out what is happening. So straight into the news I go. And as we know, we're 3 days out from a general election here in Spain, and lots of people asking the question, who's going to win, or who's favourite to win the general election? As we can see here, who will win Spain's national election on Sunday? This is what the polls are saying. Spaniards have been asked to vote in an early national election that will take place this coming Sunday. The polls ended on Monday with mixed forecasts. Some see a clear majority for the right, others give it a narrow majority, and some see a left-wing government as more likely. Taking into account all this data and the natural error of the polls, what are the probabilities of each event? This is the question answered by our classic probabilistic electoral model, which El País has been publishing since 2016. The following graph represents our estimate of seats based on the average of polls. The Conservative Popular Party, the PP, would have around 142 seats, followed by the Socialist Party, the PSOE, with 108, the far-right Vox with 35, and left-wing Sumar with 34. The rest of the political forces would have around 31 seats in total. And if we have a look at the graph in question, we can see here the estimation of seats, around 15,000 simulations from polls. The horizontal line is the mean, the vertical line is the 90% probability interval. And we can see there the PP party in blue, out in front according to these polls, around 142 the average, 108 average there for the PSOE, 35 for Vox, 34 for Sumar, and 31 for others. And of course, others are regional parties in the majority. Catalonia, regional parties there. Basque Country, regional parties there. Another party called España Vacía, I think. Some of the other minority parties, let's say, at a national level, but important in some of the autonomous communities, of course. But as we saw in that poll there, or the graph of that poll, the PP currently, when the polls closed last Monday, all of the analysis, they were out in front. So we'll wait and see what happens on Sunday regarding this election. Now, I'll go to the next piece of news here, and it is the Spanish Postal Service, Correos, has asked the Electoral Board to extend the deadline to vote by post until Friday at 2 p.m. or 1400 hours, as they say here in Spain. Correos has asked the Central Electoral Board, the JEC, to extend the deadline for postal votes until Friday, the 21st of July at 2 p.m. The deadline to vote by post ended on Thursday, the 20th of July, although now the Central Electoral Board will have to decide whether to extend it. According to sources familiar to RTVE, the body will meet at 1 p.m. to do so. On other occasions, it has been requested and has given in. So there we go. Most likely that there will be an extension until 2 p.m. on Friday in order to get those electoral, or those postal votes, I should say, in. A lot of people voting by post because they're away on holidays. They are taking their summer vacations. And let's be honest, the elections called by Mr. Sanchez, bit of an inconvenience for a lot of people who have had to resort to postal voting. And never before has the postal vote been so high in Spain as it is with these elections on Sunday. So it's going to be interesting to see. And it will also be interesting to see how many people just don't vote at all. People that have gone away haven't bothered to get the postal vote, or perhaps it didn't arrive on time, and they've just packed their bags and gone away on holiday. We'll see on Sunday what the results are for that. Now, the next piece of news here, and it's about Portugal and the fact that Portugal has imposed, as we can see here, Portugal has imposed, just let me get this back up here, controls on the border with Spain due to the Pope's visit. The Portuguese police will set up controls at the border with Spain from midnight on Saturday, the 22nd, to reinforce internal security on the occasion of Pope Francis's visit during the first week of August to take part in World Youth Day. The measure, which will be in force until midnight on Monday the 7th, will require people to identify themselves with an official document when entering the country at one of the 21 border crossings defined in the resolution approved by the last Council of Ministers. Spain and Portugal have one of the longest borders in the European Union at 1,234 kilometres. So there we go. 1,234 kilometres, which is the border, the Spanish-Portuguese border, and the police going to be out in force, as they were a few years ago when the Pope also visited Portugal. He goes to a place just north of where I am, so I've given away where I am, called Fatima. Apparently a miracle happened there around 100 or so years ago, and it is a place of pilgrimage for the Catholics, and they flock to places like Fatima or Lourdes in France, and occasionally the Pope rocks up and does what he does, gives a bit of a speech, waves his hand around and, blesses a few people, and everyone leaves happy. So a big event for Portugal. And the border, lots of controls on the border, as we saw, because they don't want any nasty people coming in. So if you're planning to cross the Spanish-Portuguese border on those dates that were pointed out there, just let me see here again what they were, from the 22nd, so Saturday, until the 7th of August, be prepared to show your identification. If you're crossing by land, okay, or by car across that land border. So be prepared for that. All right, good. Microphone pop, but vision is good. Getting some feedback here in the chats. Well, microphone pop because I'm so close to it. So I'll try to get back from the microphone. So we'll see if there is an improvement with that. I'm working on a temporary setup, so I don't get my normal studio quality. Now, the next piece of news that we can see here, the Palacios Group asks consumers not to eat its botulism-related tortilla de patatas. The Grupo Empresarial Palacios Alimentación has warned consumers early this morning to refrain from eating and return to the shop the packaged potato omelettes that they manufacture and which have been linked to an outbreak of botulism that has so far left 7 cases in several autonomous communities. In a statement, the Palacios Group asks all those who have purchased one of these products, Chef Select, Auchan, Eroski, Unide, Consum, Dia, Amedia, Condis, El Corte Inglés, Carrefour, Alipende, and Riquísimo to refrain from consuming it and to return it to the point of sale where it was purchased, where it will be reimbursed. And the tortilla in question is this one here, Palacios Tortilla Receta Casera con cebolla, or sin cebolla, whatever your preference is when it comes to Spanish omelettes, with or without onion. I prefer onion, I'm going to be honest, but some people don't. And this is the tortilla in question. But be careful, because some supermarkets also have a home brand tortilla de patatas, which is made by that group. So if you are buying your tortilla de patatas, not making it yourself, you prefer to buy it, and you have bought it from, where was it? Either Auchan, which is Alcampo, Eroski, Unide, Consum, one of those supermarkets, Dia. Be careful, because it may be containing the botulism, and you don't want to get that. So avoid that tortilla de patatas would be my advice. All right, now I'm going to go into the comment section. Let's check out what's happening there. This one here from Liquid Shivaz. There's a fine line between shuffling political views down your throat and holding dangerous views under the guise of politics. The latter is prevalent. Not to accuse you. Let me see if I can read that. Not to accuse you, Stu, about that. I think that would be. I get the sentiment of the person who posted that comment. Yeah, this was a debate that popped up the other day. Somebody was a little bit critical that I'm trying to push far-right politics on this channel, which in my opinion is absolute rubbish. I don't push any side of politics. I sometimes criticise the government, and if the government changes on Sunday, I will be critical of that government too, because all I want is good government. I want politicians to do what they say they're going to do and try and do the best that they can. Not tell us one thing and then the next day tell us something else and then say, oh, the situation has changed. Sorry, I didn't read the situation well and I changed my mind. That's why I did what I did. Not good enough in my opinion. You should have known that before you got into power, because you know what you're dealing with. If you've been in politics for a long time in this country, which the current Prime Minister has, he knows what's going on. He knows what he does, but he's just not upfront about it. And we saw that the other day with the famous road toll lie, which was a blatant lie. He came out and said on public television that it was not going to happen. And then 5 days later, he's come out and said, maybe I got that one wrong. It will happen because it's in a deal that we've done with Brussels. So, good government, no lies, and that's what I like. And I don't choose one particular party or the other. I don't go for the far right or the far left or the middle left or the middle right. Put good ideas on the table. That's all I want. Simple as that. Another one here from Phoenix. When I saw the idiocy of the haka, I shook my head. Didn't they learn from the Olympics eye-pulling fiasco? They knew very well they were mocking the haka. The video shows them laughing through the whole thing. Nowadays, not knowing what they did was highly offensive and not acceptable. The ignorance argument is a facade. They knew well what they were doing. This is the Spanish women's football team currently in New Zealand trying to win a World Cup. I think it started today. I think I saw Australia had a victory over Ireland. And New Zealand also had a victory as well, I think. So the football started today, or the soccer, if what we call it in Australia, soccer, started today with a couple of victories there. And this, the other day, social media showing 4 of the Spanish players doing a haka, not knowing that it's a culturally sensitive issue in New Zealand. They don't like people doing the haka and, laughing, as Phoenix points out there, having a bit of a joke about it. And also reminding us that last year or the year before, or whenever the Olympics were, that the Spanish team also got into hot water because they did the old slanty eye joke on social media as well. And it didn't go down too well amongst some of the Asian members of the community. So it looks as though they haven't learned from the first episode in Japan to the second one here. And as I said, the New Zealanders, the Maori New Zealanders, sensitive when it comes to their haka. They don't like people doing it and maybe taking the mickey doing it. I think that's what the argument was. Another one here from John. Don't know if Gary has booked his flight from Madrid to Alicante, but I would advise not if Alicante is his destination, to catch a plane, that is. As we spoke about yesterday, the best way to travel is the high-speed train, far more comfortable with better views, and you will arrive in the city centre. Yeah, Gary is apparently heading to Madrid. Got a bit of a layover, I think. 5 hours is the total amount of time, and he's looking for something to do in Madrid, and he asked the community what he would be able to do in that time. And John pointing out here, maybe don't travel to Alicante by plane, take the train instead. A lot more comfortable. You get dropped off in the city centre to city centre, rather than having to go to an airport that's on the outskirts of the city, having to go through the controls. Even though it's a domestic flight, there's still controls, of course. and more convenient nowadays perhaps to take the train. But I think it's too late. I think Gary's already got the flight, so don't know whether he can change. But Madrid in 5 hours, plenty of things you can do. You can get into the city fairly quickly from the airport, 15, 20 minutes, bang smack in the centre of the city, and going to shopping centres, having a bite to eat, and checking out some of the sites around where the train would drop you off at Nuevos Ministerios in the centre of Madrid, as we said. We saw that one. Another one here from Ivan. Can't wait for the elections to be done. Politics brings out the worst in people. Keep up the good work, Stu, irrespective of your own personal views. Absolutely right, Ivan. Politics brings out the worst in some people. Not everyone, but in some people it brings out the worst. And we've seen over the last week or so some of the comments that I've been getting here, very biased comments, telling people who they should vote for, putting their political propaganda in the comment section. I've had to remove some of those comments because I don't like it. You know, vote for whoever you want. If you want to vote for this party, vote for the party. You want to vote for that party, fantastic. But don't go pushing your political views down people's throats. That's my advice. Just got a dislike, so somebody obviously doesn't like my advice, but bad luck. Another one here from Bioni. Hi from Finland, soon from Murcia. Well said, Stuart, about that political corruption. None shouldn't be a blind fan of any party or politician. They're all crooked. I would vote for the PP, but I know that they are not innocent either, but it's less harmful. Also related to something that we saw last week or maybe earlier this week, can't remember exactly when, about corruption here in Spain. And I said that corruption doesn't belong to the right, corruption doesn't belong to the left, corruption doesn't belong to any side of politics, because every political party here, major political party, has had its corruption scandals. And not only at a national level, we've seen in Catalonia, the parties there, the CiU party, which was, I think it's disappeared now, it's called something else. They also had political corruption scandals, I think in different areas of the country as well. I think in the Canary Islands, maybe there has been some corruption at that local party level. So all around Spain, corruption has taken place. And as I said, it doesn't belong to the right, it doesn't belong to the left, it doesn't belong to any side of politics, as you would expect. People get in power, and for whatever reason, some of them become corrupt. I don't know why, but they do. Maybe it's the system. I don't know. Maybe it was their objective all along to become corrupt. I've got no idea. But as I said, it doesn't belong to any political party, doesn't belong to any political colour. All political parties at that national level, the big ones, and the two big ones, because the other ones are fairly new, they haven't been in power yet, but the two political parties that have shared power in this country for the last 40 or 45 years have both been involved in big corruption scandals. Another one here, we saw that one, another one here from Duncan. If any Spanish government tries to annul the autonomous community of Catalonia, I suggest there would be serious backlash from the Catalans, much worse than the reaction to what Rajoy and his regime did. Obviously, I seriously doubt any government would even try such a thing, but you never know, as strange things happen all the time. Yeah, this is the main political, what's the word? The main political idea or on the political agenda of Vox, the number one thing that they're going to do if they get into power, which they won't get into power on their own, they'll have to be in power in a coalition government. And I will say there's a very good article in the New York Times. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the New York Times, but if you want to know what's going on with the Vox party and the right-wing party here in Spain and the left-wing parties here in Spain, read the article in the New York Times today. It puts everything into perspective. So read that article, it's interesting. Just getting back on the topic here about the Catalonian autonomous community, which Vox will remove if they get into power. There's something in the Spanish Constitution, I think it's called Article 55, and the central government has the power to put Article 55 in action, and you remove the autonomous community status. So you take away that regional government, basically, and everything gets controlled from Madrid. They threatened to do it back in 2017. Rajoy threatened to do it, I think, because the situation in Catalonia was dodgy, to say the least, with that referendum that they held using public money, of course, and people went to jail as a result of that. They've all been freed subsequently. But 2017 was a bad time for Catalonia, and Mr. Abascal has said that the first thing he's going to do is take away the Catalonian independence, if you like, and bring it back to control from Madrid. Now, as I said, Vox is not going to get into power on their own, not at least in these next elections, so that's not going to happen. So we'll wait and see. And Mr. Abascal also said the other day that he predicts that the situation in Catalonia is going to be worse than in 2017. Anybody in Catalonia in 2017 will know that it was pretty bad. Riots every night, people destroying public property, buses, motorcycles, things like that in the street. Got pretty ugly there for a while, and the Spanish central government had to send in the forces. Lots of police, lots of civil guard were sent in to try and calm the situation down. But not easy to do. So we'll wait and see what happens should there be a PP-Vox coalition come Sunday. We'll wait and see what happens, but it will be a change, I imagine, in the policies towards Catalonia, because basically the government that we have currently has just bent over backwards when it comes to the Basque Country and when it comes to Catalonia, and that's what a lot of people are unhappy about, and that's why they will most likely swing to the right come Sunday. But again, we'll wait and see. Another one here from 10 Me and You. Hi, Stu. I think this is Malcolm. Hi, Stu. We cannot live without air conditioning. The temperature at night here has been 30 degrees Celsius. I'm in Murcia, lived in Spain for many years, but never experienced this hot. Praying for rain now, says Malcolm. Yeah, I think Malcolm sent me an email today saying that the rains have come to Murcia. Temperatures have cooled down a little bit, but the nights there have been unbearable. 30 degrees, what they call here tropical nights. Very, very hot weather. Difficult to sleep. And it makes people think about getting air conditioning, of course, because when you can't sleep for 2, 3, 4, 5 nights in a row, or you sleep badly, you want a solution, because that's all we want, isn't it? To be able to sleep well at night. Do our day, our normal days, we can avoid the heat, we can stay indoors, we can, find a shopping centre, but of course you can't sleep in the shopping centre. You've got to go home and face the heat. And if you don't have air conditioning in one of those hot places like Murcia City the other day, I think I read it was 44 degrees Celsius. And I was speaking to a girl today from Murcia, and I said, well, what do people do during the day? And she says, you don't see anybody until about 9 o'clock at night. So nobody is out and about in Murcia or other parts of the country where it gets very, very hot. So thanks for that, Malcolm, if that was you in that comment. Now, I think that's it as far as the comments are concerned. I'm up to the 23-minute mark, so I've gone on a little bit today. I'm going to go into the chat section now, check out what is happening there. Let me go up to the top. Let me scroll up to the top. Now, I can't change the background because, as you can see, I don't have a green screen. So I can't change the background, so no viewer picks today. But what I can do is put the like icon on the screen. So I'm going to put the like icon, where is it? Down there. And if you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so just below the video. We're at like number 68 currently, 69 now. So maybe you'll be like number 70. So if you can, hit the like button, please. And also people that have supported the channel in recent times. I've got that in front of me. I'll just get that over here. People that have given me a super thanks or bought me a coffee or longer term supporters on Patreon, thank you very much for that support because it keeps the channel going. It keeps the channel going. So thanks for the support. Now into the chat, as I said, let's see what's happening there. Andrew's the first one that I can see. Good evening from a warm, sticky southeast London. Here's hoping we are well. Thank you very much, Andrew, for that. Erica coming in from Terrassa, 30 degrees there. 2 flat-out kitties and a sick mistress. Wait, too much heat. I think that says there. Crossing my fingers that temperatures will become a bit more normal next week. Hope everyone else is okay. And just to remind people that animals really suffer with the hot weather. I know from personal experience with my dog Mia. She hasn't been herself the last week or so with the hot temperatures, finds it difficult to sleep, as we all do, moving from one part of the house to another, trying to find a cool floor to lie down on. So pets doing it tough, cats and dogs and other pets at the moment doing it tough, of course. So let's remember them also. Barbara coming in from Playa Flamenca. A little bit of rain and thunder down there, keeping the temperatures down, hopefully keeping the temperatures down. CH coming in from North London, where the sun is fighting the clouds. There we go, trying to peek its way through the clouds, no doubt. The sun there. Richard coming in from North Yorkshire. Dismal there today, 18 degrees. Next 7 days forecast with 16 and 17, rain every day. I've seen the forecast for the north of England, or at least Manchester, because that's what I'm interested in at the moment, and not looking good up there. But anyway, we'll see if there's a result in the fourth cricket test, is it? We'll see if there's a result. Gigi coming in from the north of Spain, northwest coast, Camino de los Faros. Lovely part of Galicia, which I highly recommend visiting. Hope all is well with the community. Absolutely, Gigi. Thank you very much. I saw your email. I'll get back to you soon. Janet coming in from Oxford. Hello, Janet. Another regular viewer. Renan coming in from LA. Hello, Renan. Hope you are well. What else? Let's have a look here. Alan coming in from North Carolina, returning to San Diego tomorrow. Alan's been traveling around the States in recent times. James and Kathy coming in from Worcester. Never thought we'd say this in July, but it's really quite pleasant after 5 weeks of Spanish heat. Yes, I can understand what you're saying there, James, with that hot Spanish weather. Somewhere cooler, always welcome. Always welcome. Somewhere a little bit cooler. Let's have a look. Nico coming in from the Delta del Ebro, 29 degrees there, and humid. Well, I'd take 29. Great picture and sound, says Andrew. Thank you very much, Andrew. As I said, it's a portable setup. I've got a portable computer here, a laptop computer. Microphone, not as good as the one I have at home, but what can I do? Can't bring it with me. Glass of water, of course, that never changes. So I'm doing my best. I've got out of the little corner where I normally sit in and have opened it up a little bit here. So thanks to hear that the sound is okay for you. Alan says microphone pop, which I saw before. Yeah, a bit hard to do anything about that unless you put one of those windscreens on the microphone, which I don't have. I might look into getting one of those, but it might lower the sound also, Alan. So I've got to be careful about that. Andres coming in from California. Hello, Andres. Hope you are well. Arnaud coming in from Bedfordshire. They're in England. Jen coming in from Valencia. Exploring with Jen. Hola and saludos desde un mayormente soleado Valencia. Espero que vosotros estáis bien. Thank you, Jen, for that. Going for a ride on the bike as well. Thank you. Marianne coming in from... hoping that I'm somewhere cooler than in Madrid. Absolutely, Marianne. That's the reason I get out of Madrid, because I can't handle the heat there, to be honest. So I try to find somewhere cooler. And luckily I found somewhere cooler. And all of the time that I've been coming to this part of the world, it's never got hot. Go inland, it's hot, but here, thankfully, no. David coming in from Aurora, Colorado, United States. Hello, David. Haven't seen you before. Good to see you. First time. What else? Let's have a look here. Angela coming in from Menorca with John, of course. Small thunderstorm and a little rain today. Not enough to cool things down because the Balearics have been very, very hot. The Balearics have been sweltering. Ignace coming in from Utrecht, they're up there in the north of Europe. Good to see you, Ignace, another regular viewer. Jen also coming in from Scottsdale, Arizona. I think there's a famous golf course in Scottsdale. Don't quote me on that, but I think there's a famous golf course in Scottsdale. Let me know what it is, the name of the golf course. Alex coming in from Palma de Mallorca. Stu, where am I? Love the set. Yeah, new set, Jen. I've decided to mix things up a bit. It's a bit echoey in this room. It's quite a big room, but nice tiles on the backdrop here that I can see. Reasonably clean still. Can't complain. Binge watching Floyd Food on Spain. Still very good. He was more or less the best TV chef I know. He was good back in the day, wasn't he? Floyd. What was his name? What was his first name? I can't think of what it was, but he used to get around with a glass of wine in hand, and by the time he finished the recipe, he was normally a little bit tipsy, let's say, but he was cooking back in the days before they had fresh ingredients 12 months of the year, which we have now, of course. Used to use a lot of tinned tomatoes and things like that. Used to travel around the world, as did other British chefs, and bringing decent food back to the United Kingdom, I think. Putting decent meals on people's tables. Yes. Clive, was it? Not sure. What else? Let's have a look. Alex says that the coverage of the elections has been excellent and informative. I don't see any bias, particularly when you look at the UK media. Keep it up. Yeah, I think I try to sit on the fence. Somebody said, be careful sitting on the fence because you get splinters in a bad place. But yeah, I don't push my opinions down people's throats. I just sort of read the news and see what's going on. If you want to get a biased point of view, you just read one side of the political spectrum, if you like. Just read all left-wing press, or if you want to view from the right, just read right-wing press, and you'll get your own. You'll get reinforced your ideas. No worries about that. Andres coming in here we saw Andres before from the States. Even-handed, yeah. Don't listen to those whingers. I can't wait for the beer review video. Well, the good news, Andres, is that I've bought the beer, sitting over there just to my right, and what have I got there? 10 cans. So I'm going to do two beer videos with 5 cans per review. I'm not going to drink the whole can because I don't want to end up absolutely smashed, but I have a little bit of a sip, get my ideas. Went to the supermarket before I came because here in Portugal you can't buy many types of beer, especially Spanish beer. You can get Portuguese beer, of course, but Portuguese beer, very limited still, mainly only 2 types, Superboc and Sagres. That's all you can get. And some boutique beers. That's about it. So I managed to pick them up before I came, Andre. So stay tuned for that. Not sure when I'll get it done, but hopefully not too far down the track. Sean, the prawn, coming in from Dublin. Do I have Spanish citizenship now? Dual. Why don't you want to be an Australian politician? No, I have no aspirations to be a politician, Sean. No aspirations whatsoever, and I don't have Spanish citizenship. And not planning on getting it anytime soon. But that's just me. Plenty of people are getting it. Lots of British people, from what I have heard. A friend of mine works in the official language test, is it? Called the DELE. And he told me that a lot of British people coming through in recent times trying to get that A2 level for their citizenship. Interesting. What else? Let's have a look. Alex here too. Is there anything in the election from people to the UK coming to live without a golden visa? No, there's no talk about that at all, Alex. Nothing at all. No talk at all. Keith Floyd was his name. There we go. Keith Floyd. That was his name. Absolutely. Keith Floyd. Yeah, interesting chap. Very eccentric. Always used to cook with a glass of wine. Used to cook with the same wine as well, so whatever didn't end up in the pan ended up in a glass. And interesting cooking show. There was another guy as well who was quite good, a bald guy. Can't think of what his name is. Rick somebody? Also with some interesting recipes. Pamela coming in from San Juan de los Terreros. Down there, I think, in the Valencian community. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. People talking about... Alan says he's like number 53. There we go. Amanda also like Keith Floyd. Amanda's in the chat as well. Rose is coming in as well. Haven't been around the live stream for a while. Been AWOL. Weather here, nothing outstanding. There we go. Thank you, Rosa. Kevin coming in from Arizona. Arizona, as they say here in Spain. Chrissy also coming in from a hot Granada. Salad. Had a shower of rain, but still hot. Can't sleep at night. Been 44 for a week. That's the issue that I was talking about, wasn't it? Those sleepless nights because of the hot weather. And lots of articles in Northern European press about the hot summers in Spain. And they're even talking now that Spain's tourism model, I read this in the paper today, Spain's tourism model might see changes when people start to avoid this country in July and August, which makes sense, right? You wouldn't want to go to a place like Cordoba or Seville at the moment, or even Madrid. You would not want to go there, no. Let's have a look. What else we got going on? Alan says, believe it or not, it reached 45 in my front garden in Sussex last year, and we really not geared up for the very hot weather here. 45 in Sussex? Wow, must have been directly in the sun. 45 in Sussex. Wow, never thought I'd see that. Erica also talking about the dogs. Dogs, I've got a cooling mat. They love it. There we go. I've heard about those cooling mats. Somebody I know got one for their dog, so I might have to look into a cooling mat. Another thing is to get the dog on top of the cooling mat. That would be my biggest issue, because this dog, she doesn't like to be told what to do or where to sleep. That's why she walks around aimlessly trying to find a cool part of the floor. So I don't know if I'd be able to get her onto one of those cooling mats. I'll see. Yeah, those videos are on YouTube with Keith Floyd. Check them out. Have a look at some of that old-style cooking. Alan says it looks as though I'm in a tube station. Yeah, same type of tiles as you would see in the London Underground system. Absolutely. Thanks for pointing that out. We've got a super sticker from Anderson. 30. What's that? Danish kroner. Thank you very much, Anderson, for that. Pear stretching his arm, raising a thumb up. Thank you very much. I can't see the image, but I imagine there's an image involved with that. Passed out drunk by the end of the show if I knocked off the 5 cans of beer. Absolutely. Or you're talking about Keith Floyd. Probably. Passed out drunk by the end of the show. Not sure. But I would be definitely if I knocked off those 5 beers. St Andrews Golf Course, says Inesi. I don't think it's St Andrews in the States. St Andrews is in Scotland, so I don't think it's that. What else we got going on? Let's have a look. Here quickly, Keith Floyd. Thank you very much, Terence, for pointing that out. Loved his wine, don't we all? Thank you very much, Terence. Yes, absolutely. Especially when you're cooking. Reynolds saying, don't sit out in the sun too long. Blend in with those tiles. Yeah, I've sort of got the same complexion as the tiles. That's right. So I'll try not to get too burnt. I'm a slip-slop slapper, if you know what that is. Slip-slop slapper. Not a slapper, slip-slop slapper. And I put sunscreen on every day. So hopefully I won't end up like the colour of these tiles. All right, what else we got going on here? Let me have a look quickly. Rick Stein is the name of that guy. Absolutely, Rick Stein was his name. Thank you very much. Zach coming in also from Los Angeles. 3 or 4 people have pointed out that it was Rick Stein, the name of that other chef. Thank you. Zach coming in from LA. James coming in also saying that it is Rick Stein. Yeah, so the old British chefs. I think Rick Stein's still going. Floyd had a bistro in Bristol. There we go. So here you go. These, of course, we're talking before the Gordon Ramsays came along, right? And the Marco Pierre Whites and people like that. We're talking about those chefs from the Floyd 1970s. Rick Stein was a little bit later, of course, but that's those classic chefs. Jimmy, happy that Australia's women won. Spain is on Friday, says Jimmy. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Spain. I think they're one of the favourites, right? One of the favourites. James also pointing out that it was 39 degrees Celsius in Worcester last year, 19th of July. So 1 day ago, or 1 day and 1 year ago. Super chat from Alan also, £10. Get some more beer in the fridge. Down your neck. Absolutely, Alan, I will. I'll get some Portuguese. I could do a Portuguese beer review as well, but as I said, there's only 2 main types, so that wouldn't be a very long video. Let's have a look. And Anthony coming in from Melbourne. Now, I'm at the end of the chat, so I'm going to wrap it up. Been going for 40 minutes. Decent live stream. I'll be back again on Sunday, I think, with another live stream. I'll organise that soon, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks to people that have supported the channel today. Alan and Anderson, I think, were the 2 supporters. Thank you very much for that. As I said, I'll be back again on Sunday, election day, so we'll keep an eye on what happens. I don't think the polling booths would have closed by the time I do the video on Sunday, so it'll be a live stream waiting to see what's going on, but Monday probably will be the day when we know the full results of the election. So I'll probably put out something on Monday as well. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. Thanks for giving your 20 cents worth in the chat. And I'll be back again, as I said, on Sunday. So hasta luego, hasta entonces, adiós.